Hey everyone, this is Portlandia here with a ride on the Hiboy e-scooter in Portland, Oregon. This is a Hiboy e-scooter I bought on Amazon. Amazon links in the description. Real quick, this is me driving through Sabi Island. I've never driven to or been on a river island, and this island is huge and it's really cool, located in the middle of the Columbia River at 24,000 acres. Anyway, let's ride. This is Portland, Oregon in the fall. Beautiful. It was really beautiful. Um, I didn't plan to do any riding through here. I didn't plan to spend too much time in Portland, and it's not because I don't like the place. I love Portland. It's because I had other plans, but I ended up ultimately stopping here. I had plans in Portland, but once those plans fell through, I said, all right, I'll just move on because there's other things I wanted to see on this trip. And I love Portland, but it was just other things I wanted to do. But thankfully, I brought the scooter because if I did not bring the scooter, I would have likely bypassed. I'd stopped real quick and I was like, I'll get lunch here and then move on. But since I had the scooter and the e-bike, I had my Hiboy KS and I had also the electric XP long range. I wasn't going to lug it out just to ride around for a little bit. But since I had the e-bike I'm talking about, since I had the scooter, it took a hot second to yank it out and put the GoPro on it and let's roll. And so luckily I had it, and that's what I did. I hopped on it, and it was such a beautiful day here in Portland that I am so glad I brought that scooter with me. Now when I go on these long trips, even this is me. I have a Nissan Kicks that I drove for this trip, and it's a small little hatchback, but it had so much room in it to fit my e-bike and my e-scooter. But I'm going to start making sure I take the e-scooter when I do on these long trips like this. It was just perfect to take it, and you can see I have tons of footage, not just Portland but other places. That if I didn't take the scooter, I literally would have missed out on a lot of stuff because it wasn't really in the plans to ride around. But the scooter makes it convenient for when you don't want to, I didn't want to pull out a 70-some pound bike and unfold it and, all that stuff and get all the preparation going. This took literally 5 minutes. Tighten up a GoPro, unfold the little handle, and roll out. I'll leave links in the description for this scooter and similar scooters as well. This scooter itself goes around 19 miles an hour. It has a sport mode and an economy mode. The economy mode is probably about 15 miles an hour, and it'll do it all day. It has regenerative brakes. It's not very heavy scooter. You'll see a picture of me when I went to Escape from New York. If you've seen any of my old videos, one of my favorite little pizza spots when I come to Portland, in one of my little favorite neighborhoods, Nob Hill, which is where I parked. Um, luckily I had the scooter, so I didn't even have to leave it outside because I didn't have a lock with me. I just folded it down and picked it up and went into this pizza place, ate, sat my scooter next to me, and then left. It was pretty simple. Um, I like about Portland. Portland is so bike friendly and scooter friendly. And I'm not wild on scooters, even though it seems like I'm going really fast. The max I can go is 19 miles an hour. I'm just riding around. School is in. Um, and so there's not as many people out. I would get caught up with the school rush when I went to get pizza, just the way it was. But like I said, this was just a quick stop. I wanted to see. There was two things on my list for Portland this time. Next time I'll spend a little bit more time doing other things. But as you heard in my other videos, I wasn't feeling as well this trip. I had a cold or something like that, so I was stuffy and a little under weather and fatigued. But I was making the best of it and just loaded up on medication, to be honest with you, and just rolled out. Um, so I was making the most of it, but it did take a little bit of my motivation, as you know, when you're not feeling as well. But there was two things on my list since I was already here. Well, really, one thing was to get lunch, and then I found out they had a river island, which I'd seen before driving over like an overpass or something. I've never been to a river island, so I drove to Sabi Island, drove around. Super cute place. People live there. It's beautiful. Anyway, I thought it was really cool. So I had to, check it off my list because I actually got to see a river island and be on it, which I thought was really cool. And the fall time, it was beautiful. This is the fall time, so this is October time frame I'm riding around. People ask me, well, what's the homeless population like when you're there? The homeless population is still really bad in Portland. Um, when we first came here in 2020, right before, literally, we were in Port. Our first time coming to Portland was 2020. We were here a week before they did the first lockdowns for COVID, the first COVID lockdown. So we were here pre-COVID by like a week, but things were starting to slow down, as everything was happening. We loved it though. There was homeless people and stuff, but it was nothing like it would get later on where it would get really bad. So Portland is very similar to Denver in regards to its homeless population, because people ask me. So there's lots of them here, but they're not. It's not equal. What I mean by being equal is good neighborhoods don't hardly have them, and this regular average Joes, they are stuck with them. They have so many homeless in their areas, and then certain spots within um, the downtown as well. Portland has, though, realized their little experiment of decriminalizing drugs and all that stuff had backfired on them. And I saw that the time I was here before, when it was so bad with the drugs and just the homeless everywhere. So it is better than probably 2022, I'd say, when I was here. But depending on where you're at, there are quite a few of them. Where I was at, there was not as many in Nob Hill, because it's a nicer area and lots of very touristy. But in other areas you'd go, you'd see quite a few of them. It's the same as when you go to Seattle. Seattle, their homeless population. Portland's is bad. Seattle's is way worse. And I'll be putting some videos together when on my Seattle trip as well. Seattle was way worse. Everyone, oh my God! And it was, and I know Portland's bad too, but it's just luck of the draw where I stopped at, which was a nicer area. And people who live in Portland, you know what I'm saying. There's areas where it's nice, like Nob Hill, and there's other areas it's not. So I'm riding around. This is just an e-scooter. It's a little bit on the chillier side. It's a beautiful day, but I'm sure I have like a flannel on. I might even have a coat on. I'm pretty sure I have a light coat on. Matter of fact, but it was a perfect day, I think, to ride around. Just look at the weather, everyone. I would ultimately be done in Portland after I got like some lunch when I went to Escape from New York Pizzeria. I would go there, and then I would hop back on the freeway, on the highway, and ultimately go all the way till I got to Seattle. I almost stopped in Olympia and stuff like that in that area, but unfortunately, like I said, I was a little under the weather. So I think a little bit I was just panicking and just a little down on myself. It's regardless. I look back on my trip to there, and yes, I didn't get to do everything like I usually like to do, but I still had a good time, and it still was a blast. And I got to see some other areas that I'm really interested in exploring next time even further. I'll definitely be back to Portland, of course. I have one of my kids lives here as well, grown adult kids, but um, I'm very interested in a lot of Northern California that I was driving through and checking out, and I was like, man, there's some cool areas out here. I'm not from Northern, I'm from Southern. What I saw, I really want to look at a lot more. There's some towns I want to see a lot more, and some small cities I want to see more. I would like to take my partner back, and me and her go check out Eureka a little bit further, Arcata, the Samoa Island, stuff like that that I saw. Certain things I'll only do part of the trips. Like I see things and cool, put a little mental photograph, but then I don't want to necessarily do it all by myself. I'd like to have my wife with me to experience it, or someone with me to experience that too later on, and not just me see everything, and then I rehash it with you. So I just want to know where it's at. But anyway, I digress. Getting back to Portland, it did look a lot cleaner in the areas I was in, but remind you, I'm still near, excuse me, Nob Hill, a lot of the areas, but then I did get off the beaten path, and I think some areas there were a little more heavier homeless populations in those areas. But like you can look at where I'm at and tell this is nice areas, you know. And I've said, people ask me, well, would you live in Portland? I used to think I would. No, I wouldn't. I would love visiting. If I lived in Oregon, I would love visiting Portland, go hanging out, riding the bike trails, doing stuff like that. Portland is a whole different vibe. I just think honestly, the government is dysfunctional there, like a lot of big cities, same as where I'm at in the Denver area and stuff. I just think they're a mess, and who pays the price is the people that work there or live there, excuse me, not the people that are upper class. It's the regular folks. They get to pay the price of having homeless encampments in their backyard, and high crime and stuff like that. So that's why I wouldn't. But as far as visiting, I love to. I love visiting. I think it's eclectic. I think it's a different vibe. I think it's kind of weird, but I also think it's really cool too. Um, No, I couldn't live here. I always sometimes I go back and forth, but I'm like, I could live here for a few months a year. Okay, let's say it that way. I could definitely live in Portland for like a few months, maybe in the summer or something like that. I could see that, type of thing, or went far out, further out in the suburbs, just like I do now. So, I mean, I shouldn't really say I would never. Um, Riding the e-scooter though, the KS4, the Hiboy is great because one thing that I really like about the scooter is you cannot get flats on it because it's a solid tire. You can't get a flat on it. As far as comfort of riding it, it rides fine to me. It gets me from point A to B. Um, it's easy to zip in and out of traffic here and there. I can see around myself really easy. I'm 6 foot tall, 205 to 210 pounds, depends on how well I'm eating. Um, and it hauls me around fine. If you were like say a woman at 130 pounds or a gentleman at like 150, 160 pounds, you'll probably be flying a lot quicker than me on this. But it has no problem getting me up to speed and taking me where I need to go. I've never ran out of charge. I don't even worry about it. Um, type of thing. It also has a Bluetooth app that you can use. When I was riding around, because I didn't know where I was going, one thing I do recommend is I always put it in economy mode if I don't really know where I'm going at, just to make sure I'm conserving and I'm not burning up my battery super fast, super quick, because I don't know where I'm at. So, but I got back with plenty of charge. It's easy to charge. When I get to my hotel and motel rooms, I pick it up and bring it inside and plug it in, and it charges fairly quickly. I'll leave links in the description for it for Amazon. I've had this, I don't know, a year or more likely now, and I've used it a lot of places, and now I've been using it a lot more. When I need exercise, like I'm riding around right now, I hop off of it and I'll walk. I'll set my little Apple Watch, walk for a mile or two, get me a little bit of exercise, and hop back on it and go. It saves me battery at once, and it's also good for my health to get off and walk. Because if I was on the e-bike, it's a little bit different, and I always pedal on the e-bike. But of course, you can't pedal on an e-scooter. I'll leave a link for the one they have this one that has the seat attachment on it too, so you can actually sit on it. I almost thought about getting it just to test it out and stuff. I said, that's kind of cool too, just to sit down too, because I'm always standing, on it. But then I was like, no, I'm taking a e-bike too, so I don't need both like that, just where I can sit down. But look at this. It's beautiful out here. I love the neighborhoods when they're cleaned up and they're taken care of in Portland. They are so beautiful. The big trees, all that good stuff. It rains quite a bit here, steady rains and stuff like that. But that's why it's so green, why it's so lush here, why the trees are so big, why you can ride around and just look at just the overhang of these big trees, all that stuff. It's beautiful out here. Pacific Northwest is definitely an experience. It's a beautiful area of the country. Going to Phoenix and stuff like that, you can find cool stuff as well, like Phoenix, Arizona, the lower drier areas, but nothing like this. These are just beautiful. But you're going to get rain. That's why they stay pretty like this. Um, you know, it's what makes it beautiful. Anyway, would I recommend the Hiboy KS scooters? Oh yeah, these e-scooters are really cool, and I really like them as a travel partner. I love it. How much money did I just save not renting a scooter? That's what when people think about. I didn't rent a scooter. I just threw it in my car and took it with me. So I've read it like 3 or 4 times on this trip at least. And how much money did I save versus the last time? I think I spent $60 or something altogether. Riding around, rental scooters that were slower, crappier, died on me, things like that. This is my scooter. I got it with me. If I'm worried in the area, I put it up. I fold it up and bring it into a store or something with me. Make sure no one takes it. I'll leave links, like I said. This is not a Peel area. I'm going back to my car right now. And so I simply just hopped off, walked. There we go. Anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. This was still a pretty good trip. This is a good scooter. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.